Welcome back on iKeysRacing from Marco from Monza, ciao, but especially virtually from the Pacific Raceways. As you know, with the theme SportsCar 100 minutes races, we have 19 opportunities to discover American soil from modern to oldest racetracks. Today it's the turn for Pacific Raceways. We go northwest on the United States map into the Washington state and close to the city of Kent, still in the Washington state. For the last time we will stay on the Pacific coast. If you noticed, we raced at Laguna Seca, Ontario Motor Speedway and so on, and everything was mainly Long Beach and so on the Pacific coast to take advantage, let's say, of the southwest area, also from a climate point of view, even if it is just virtually. And finally we reach the last race of the Pacific coast before moving at the center of the United States. We will go in Canada and then we will finish the season, the second part, on the east coast as a sort of Route 66 vice versa, crossing the United States but also respecting a bit virtually the pollution of air travel. While we are losing the Toyota GT1, I'm happy because I have the opportunity also with another spin to talk about this beautiful track that has started operations back in 1960, more or less, but I do prefer to read for you, so at least I do not commit mistakes unless the source is broken. But we can summarize with this beautiful venue that is a mixed-use road racing and drag racing facilities near Kent, as said, Washington State. The racetrack was constructed in 1959 and opened in 1960. The track was originally named Kent Pacific Raceways, then became known as Seattle International Raceways in 1969. Finally, after the landowner regained control of the track in 2002, so it's 20 years ago, 21, the name reverted to Pacific Raceways. It's a 2.2 miles, 3.6 kilometers, asphalt and concrete surface with 10 turns, but also inside the main straight there is a connection with a drag strip. So we can mention that former major events were AMA Superbike Championship in the 80s, Trans Am Series between the 60s, the 70s and the 80s, and the U.S.A. IndyCar just in 1969. It is a well-driven, well-twisty racetrack with also 120 feet or 38 meters of elevation. You will see it during the qualification. There is also a natural wooded back section that you will see in a couple of seconds that for sure isn't and wasn't the perfect, let me say, venue for Group C GTP cars, hypercars of today, or in particular LMP and GT1 cars we are seeing here between the end of the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s. But nonetheless, because I've seen so many races of the old Camel GT happening into short and twisty racetracks with a lot of crashes maybe, I wanted absolutely to race here, and the only particular thing I'm using is not having the presence of GT2 cars that originally were the original GT1 cars before the arrival of the fake prototypes, just because they risk to slow down too much GT1 and LMP cars. So to have a smooth race that nonetheless will have some crashes and some mistakes, we are going to use just GT1 cars. It will be very, let me say, a rush race, and also very, if not chaotic, anyway, let me say heartfelt, because it's like a sort of Monte Carlo twisty, always driven racetrack. You cannot distract yourself 1 second. The lucky side is maybe I will shut up a lot. For you, I think it's an advantage. Anyway, the track hosted 2 NASCAR Winston West Series between 84 and 85, and also a NASCAR Northwest Series race in 2003. There is a driving school if you are in the area, if you are interested, which offers several curricula, including sanctioned race licensing courses, performance driving, lapping clinics, and specialty driving instructions. The facility also features a drag strip, as said at the beginning, which hosts the NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series Northwest Nationals and regional races, plus a dirt motocross track. Since 1988, Pacific Raceways has been home to the Northwest Nationals, originally known as the Seafair Nationals, of the NHRA Drag Racing Series. The track played an important role during the heyday of professional sports car racing in the U.S. during the 60s. From 63 to 68, Pacific Raceways hosted the Pacific Northwest Grand Prix, which was a round of the United States Road Racing Championship. From 67 through 1970, the venue hosted an annual round of the SCCA Trans Am Series, including the season finales 67-68. Again, the Trans Am Series returned to the track in 75, 77, 82 through 84. The SCCA Continental Championship for Formula 5000 also visited the track from 69 through 71 and again in 73. Notable winners, we can mention Mario Andretti and All Answer, the father, because the track hosted 2 heat races in a single weekend of the U.S.A. Championship car in 1969. We can mention also drivers that visited the victory lane here: Mark Donoghue, Brian Redman, David Hobbs, Ronnie Bucknam, Peter Gregg, Tony Adamowicz, Parnelli Jones, Elliot Forbes Robinson, Pedro Rodriguez, Dave McDonald, Ken Miles, Jim Hall and Jerry Titus. Record lap times unfortunately are not updated, meaning that a Formula monoplace car is the U.S.A. IndyCar of 1969, with Dan Garney running in 1 minute and 14 seconds, .1. Few years later, 1973, Formula 5000, 1 minute 15 seconds, 3/10. More recent, 1984, Trans Am Series, 1 minute 22.8. Here we are going to expect laps around 1 minute 08, 1 minute 09, up to 1 minute 15 or 16 if not worse. That was all for the track. I don't want to go too long. Let's go to see our iKeysRacing community polls to see which car we are going to drive today, that you luckily have chosen. So nothing better than this, at least for my taste. See you there. So back from what is the situation of polls. You have chosen the Porsche 911 GT1 that I will drive with more than pleasure from my side. More than happy to drive this beauty for you. A brief history also for this beast, that is a car designed and developed by the German automobile manufacturer Porsche AG to compete in the GT1 class of sports car racing, which also required, back then, we are at the mid-90s, end of 90s, a street legal version for homologation purposes. The limited production street legal version developed as a result was named the 911 GT1 Straßenversion street version. It's a steel tube frame from a chassis point of view. Suspensions, front and rear, are double wishbones with push rod suspension and adjustable dampers. The engine is the usual flat 6 twin turbocharged 3 liters .2 mid-engine mounted, capable of 600 horsepower-ish. We will have a 6-speed sequential manual gear shift. The weight between 950 and 1050 kilograms. The debut was the 96 24 hours of Le Mans, that anyway has seen the victory of Davy Jones, Alexander Wurz and Manuel Reuter with a TWR Porsche WSC 95. That technically was the Jaguar XJR14 with the roof cut to transform the car into a silhouette, a barchetta, but nonetheless at the debut this car arrived second with Hans-Joachim Stuck, Thierry Boutsen and Bob Wollek, with 1 lap down of gap. On the podium, the other 911 GT1 with Karl Wendlinger, Yannick Dalman and Scott Goodyear, with 13 laps less than the victory TWR Porsche. The debut is very linked with the B.P.R category, because with the revival of international sports car racing in the mid-90s, thanks to the B.P.R Global GT series, that then morphed into the FIA GT Championship, Porsche expressed interest, but unluckily the 911, 993 models were not, allow me to say, competitive enough to beat the likes of the Ferraris F40 Modified or the McLaren F1 GTR, prepared especially for this particular category. So at the end Porsche had the choice to do a sort of hybrid. It's not visible nowadays, but internally that was the case. So basically the frontal chassis was based on the 993 generation 911, with the rear subframe derived from the Porsche 962C, along with its water-cooled, twin-turbocharged and intercooled 4 valves per cylinder, 3.2 liters, flat-6 engine, with fuel fed by Bosch Motronic 5.2 fuel injection system. The engine was longitudinally mounted in a rear mid-engine rear-wheel drive layout compared to the rear engine rear-wheel drive layout of a conventional 911. The one we are racing is the 911 GT1 98, that was slightly different, especially for the front headlights that were not anymore in common with the 911 street model, but in some way, like for the Mercedes CLK, had to resemble the figure, the shape, the style of the usual Porsche seen on street because of homologation and marketing reasons, as well as the back that had the usual rear lights of a Porsche 911. So we can leave the pit, but before I show you very briefly the car setup, and then we go to try to run our beast. So in the garage I just load the car setup prepared before. Page 1, nothing particular to say, just a nice differential, 50% free, 50% blocked. For the rest, nothing special to mention apart 6 quick gears very close, especially for this racetrack. At Monza would have been a different scenario, but here we needed and we need to have sequential quick gear shifting, because everything will be about acceleration and a comfort way to break the car from full speed down to 4th, 3rd, 2nd gear. It's more interesting, let me say, even if for qualification we can go down a bit with the front anti-roll bar. Interesting to be managed again a bit less stiff than during free practice. Here, let me say, a pure race car, a very stiff front end and a very soft rear end. The car will run between 5 and 6 centimeters from the ground. Fuel consumption will force us in some way to have to pit stop, but we will talk later about the race strategy. it will be really something to drive very aggressively. I will try to do it without screwing up the qualifying session. Qualifying session that is doing something, let me say, not surprising. What I mean is, first of all, as anticipated, we are not racing GT2 cars, so no Corvette, no Viper, no BMW M3 Series, no, I don't remember the other cars. No, there will be not the SARD, MC8, and so on. So the field will be maybe very compact with 36 available slots, even if the Ferrari WSC Courage are not running. But between 115, the Penots, the McLarens, the Lotus Elise, Laurent Aiello is our contender, being a teammate, running at 1 minute 11.7. I'm not sure I'm going to match his particular quick lap time. But also, as you can see, the Mercedes CLK together with the Nissan R390 and the Porsches and the GT1 are the, let me say, the slowest pack for today. The rest will be instead very dominated by LMP cars, thanks to the fact that they are lighter and technically they have production engines, but they are all V12 for the Ferraris, V8 for the Riley and Scott, and so on. Naturally aspirated, twin turbocharged, I mean, they are pure beasts. In fact, the only GT1 car in some way coping with the level of the BMW, the Cadillacs, the Audi R8R and so on is the Toyota GT1, arrived in 1999 if I'm not wrong with the year, but obviously was a car so extreme with holes in the bodywork. I mean, it was not anymore a real GT1, as well they were not anymore real GT1 cars like the Porsche 911 we are going to drive, or the Mercedes CLK, or the Nissan R390. Yes, they were homologated to be used also on a normal street of everyday commuting between your house and your office, but honestly we can see, I must say, very well reproduced the first, let me say the word, era for GT1 taken from a saloon and prepared for races, the Penots, the McLaren F1 GTR, the Lotus Elise. The second era generation, the Porsche 911, the Mercedes CLK, the Nissan R390. The third generation for GT1 that were pure prototypes, like, as I said, the Toyota GT1 from the Japanese manufacturer. I am surprised by this level of reality in a video game old 20 years almost, and which is the base GTR2 for power and glory, but really well reproduced, I would say, especially on a twisty racetrack where you need power to accelerate, but you need a lot of downforce to cope with the twisty narrow racetrack. No more words, let's go to qualify the beast. First of all, welcome on board. The car is viewable maybe in a better way with a virtual reality helmet, but believe me, it has been reproduced in a perfect way, like not very often I've seen on video games. And if you even have the opportunity to have a look on Google Images, you will find that despite being a graphic exercise, is perfectly matched, like not very often, as said, happens. We will use the auto clutch, obviously. We will do maybe 2 laps of warming up tires. I will pay attention to not be kicked from in the back from many other cars, but really a nice track, a nice car. Let's follow the 2GT. Here on the left you will notice the drag strip, sorry. I will show it at the end of the race. Here we are, main straight, first corner, first hard braking zone. Let go the GT1 Toyota. Here we are in the woods. Sorry, but I wanted to leave space for the BMW. Okay. Anyone else behind? No. 2 hairpins. The beautiful area of the S's. A joy to drive. There's something going wrong here. The McLaren out. And let's go. I've lost the apex. I was watching the classification. So currently 112.3, Lorana yellow with the same car 111.7. I miss half a second. Already 3/10 slower. Almost losing the car. Okay, nothing to do. As you have seen, I've tried 2 different approaches to the lap time, but I fear that unless I reduce a bit the rear wing, I'm not going to obtain nothing special. The car is, let me say, drivable decently. There are many ups and downhill, downhill, uphill. So mechanically, with slow speed, I was saying with slow speed corners is okay. Also in the fast corners the car is stable, but still I think it's more my limit, because the same car with Lorana Yellow did run half a second quicker, if not more. I show you the drag strip because previously I said I show you in at the end of the race.
Looks like there's a yellow flag in sector 3.
Let's hope to not be catched by the racing director. I'm sorry for the...
You're driving the wrong way. Turn the car around.
Because I risk to be disqualified, but I saved the game. Yes, I am disqualified, but no problem, because at least I can record and show you the drag strip that you cannot enter from the direction in front of you where cars are passing. But you can re-enter the track around this drag strip. So a nice touch, I think, with still anyway stands and other stuff around. And that now I've saved the game, we can do a silly drag strip fake race. But if you want to test also your car, even just to know from 0 to 200 kilometers per hour how many seconds requires, you can do it like this. And so on. Now I will go to the pit without bothering the other cars. Into the garage for the race, trying not to overdrive the car while entering. Anyway, we have a P27, very dramatic, silly, whatever you want, but that's it. Hopefully Lorana Yellow will not improve, but still there is a half a second of gap. What I was thinking to do, maybe for the race, given that we will be heavier, reduce by 2 notches the rear wing to have a bit more speed, and maybe go down 1 notch here and 2 here, and down to 330 Newton per millimeters for what is the front end, a bit smoother and a bit less rear wing, just to, let me say, make the car cornering a bit better with 100 liters loaded. 100 liters loaded, that if they will be not enough to arrive to 100, because the sum is 92 minutes out of 100, we will see if to stop a second time or to coast at the end. The thing is, the car is more or less, as you have seen from the timing, not well placed, so I would prefer, let's say, to stay on track more than stopping at the pit lane, because I think that avoiding one pit stop here, as often happens during endurance races, could make a difference. So I take the risk personally to drive this way, and maybe in the last 8 minutes of the race enter the pit for a splash and go, without changing tires and so on. Let's see if this time I nail it, or instead I just screw up things as always. But this is the particular condition for 1 hour and 40 minutes race here. Timing done, we can stop the accelerated time, save the game again, and be ready for the race. But before, let me save the car setup. from a realism point of view, we are going to use the real-time passing of time, as well as for tire wear and fuel use. Just mechanical failures, as always, will be combined and happening within the 100 minutes or 1 hour and 40 minutes of race. That's it. 35 contenders, as said, 1 hour and 40 of race. Maybe we can start from 13 or maybe also 14 in the afternoon. Rolling start, 100% strength, real aggression. And also with the beautiful news of the rain coming, despite the track being, they say, absolutely dry. So for the first time maybe we will, yes, we will possibly face a dry start with then a rain coming. This changes completely all the possible ideas I had about the car setup, but I want to take the risk to not touch a single parameter, keep it as it is. We will just move to or intermediate or hard wet once the rain will arrive, but we will see. From a grid point of view, there is a P34 here because, as usual, the bug of GTR2 makes the difference. Anyway, not always, but with this mod, yes. But because I do not trust the game, but it's never clear, I fear that at least we will need intermediate tires, if not rain tires, because GTR2 has this not defect, but graphically you see it, you don't see the rain, but when the light is so poor and the asphalt so, let me say, dark gray compared to when you have the sun, very often there is at least a bit of rain on the track. So if you don't mind, I would just do one thing. If it is a stupid thing, I'm just stupid. I would go for intermediate. So if it rains, we have already something to play with, a decent type of tires. If the rain will stop, we will stop for rain tires, wet tires. What else? We will see. I don't know very well this game when the rain is arriving, so I don't know what to expect. And so starting grid, Martin Brundle, Toyota GT1, Stefan Johansson, Lola, or Reynard, I do not remember, sorry, Nissan R391, Eric Coma, Renault Esperante, David Brabham, Brandon Müller, Nissan R390, Bushu Zonta with our teammate Lorana Yellow, Didier Theis, Ferrari 333 SP, JJ Leto, BMW LMP, John Field, Lola, the other Toyota GT1 Martin Brundle, different version, year 98 if I'm not wrong, Riley and Scott, Eric Coma, Eric Van de Pole with the other Nissan, then Yannick Dalmat with Reynard, Andy Wallace Cadillac, the silver one, we will see also the black one, Lise Olofsson McLaren F1 GTR, Penot Esperante John O'Connell, Monsieur Polican with the other Ferrari 333 SP, Michele Alboreto with the first Audi R8R, Calderari Kron with the Lola, Monsieur Clerico with the Courage C52, Lotus Elise GT1, Ekblom Courage C51, the other Cadillac with Emmanuel Collard, Frank Vila Audi R8, the other Panitz LMP, Gossens Courage C51, Joachim Winkelhock with the BMW LMP, Butch Leitziger with the last Rally and Scott, Dodi with the WR Peugeot, Terada with the WR Peugeot we have driven back in the previous appointment, Patrese Suzuki, Nissan R390, the second Mercedes CLK, Haas, McLaren F1 GTR, and Davis with the Pelots Esperante. So here we are waiting for the green flag, and as said, the rain is there. The effect is 25 years old, so please forgive the SimBin equipe, but did a beautiful game despite not having the technology available nowadays, graphically speaking. But the race is on, and let's see what kind of mess we are going to combine between the wrong choice of tires that I will try to not cook, especially on the dry side. But we are in the woods. If I'm sure that some cars will crash or create issues, at least we have maybe a tire compound, a tire specification that will resist at least the first laps, while the others maybe will crash. Here in theory we have a bit of advantage if the others are not using intermediates, but we don't know, so I try to just drive around. Understeering. And wait for conditions to change or not. So far I do not see cars struggling for the wrong type of tire compound or specification. McLaren is going. Look in front. Oh, my goodness. This is bad. No. Well, for an Audi, yes, Frank Bila seems out. Now I want to understand if the aerodynamics damages are terminal or not. Seems not. I have avoided 2 crashes, but the third one was not avoidable, maybe. Sorry, but the penalty is definitely quicker. There is an Audi, a Frank Bila, coming out from the pits. I was thinking it was terminal instead, not. Ferrari 333 SP out. Was Van de Pole, I think. This is Van der Grass instead. Van der Gast. We have a WR Peugeot at the back, and is Yuki Terada, so direct contender for the overall classification, not for the category. As before, LMP are absolutely quicker. I do not feel bad with the driving style requested with intermediates. So far seems more or less like on dry. But I've noticed that at the back we have already Patrese Suzuki that we passed, if I'm not wrong, at the beginning of the race. This is bad. The Lotus is not keen to let us pass. If it is the Lotus, after the crash, no, it was the Nissan. After the crash there, 13 seconds now of repairing timing required. The Nissan goes much quicker than me. Lotus goes. I fear that now intermediates are not the right choice. Temperatures are okay, but the grip is not there. Maybe the others are running with slick tires, so a light terrain is not a problem. I don't know. Another Penots crashing. The Reynard PlayStation sponsored. Terada gone. Don't ask me how much grip they have. Laps more or less will be 50 minutes, a bit more maybe. So this means that the car maybe does not drink like supposed by the computer. We can really think to one single pit stop strategy. This would save us a lot of time. What is doing the McLaren here? Toyota GT1 is now behind, but maybe was the leader of the race, Martin Brundle. I forgot to have a look. For sure they are quicker than us. But I think that they have stopped for a gear change, sorry, a tires change. A moment of struggle for the penalties. But what scares me is that I cannot cope with the Lotus Elise GT1 that more or less is like the McLaren, an old GT1 car compared to the Porsche we are driving, and it's a pity to not be capable to stay in the same pace often, plus not passing her so easily. Toyota GT1 is going. Maybe we can do like before, yes. We passed the Cadillac, but externally Toyota GT1 had a level of downforce that was absolutely unbeatable. Or maybe I'm just suffering for the choice of intermediate tires. I don't know. I don't know the others. It's not visible the type of tires chosen by the others. I would bring from 7 degrees to 5 degrees maybe. The front caster, while in the meantime the Elise crashed, as well as the Penske Sperante. You've seen a grey car on the left a few seconds ago. Here we are. The Elise coming back from the pit, coming out from the pit. Touched by Alboreto, the Audi. Okay. Another time the McLaren, sorry, once more the McLaren out. It's the track that maybe gives more troubles to the AI. I mean, this track is absolutely beautiful to drive, fun. But I've never seen the AI in trouble like today on this track. The Cadillac LMP will not force the pass. As said, on this track, LMP cars have the advantage of less weight, a better handling, and a similar power output. Audi and Cadillac collided. Stefan Johansson passed us. With the Reynard or Lola, I don't remember, Reynard maybe. So we are down to P9. It'll be really a race of patience, this one. I don't have the car to win, given the nature of the track, but we can sneak and steal positions. Here we are. To avoid. Will be very risky because I don't see who is arriving, but I need the reverse. And thank you to do whatever you want, Mr. Johansson. Decided. Six minutes in the race, already one lap down. But now we overlap the McLaren, Wolf Davidoff of they were Liz Olofsson, I don't remember. This is Eric Coma with the Nissan struggling, good. And stupid idiot, he crashed into us while braking. It was a struggling, I don't know for what. Luckily just aerodynamics still involved into this. If not light crashes anyway, not terminal crashes. Was an LMP car passing us very easily. Now they struggle, he struggles. Drag race, we are in the right place to do it. But he is too light and too powerful, or the combination of the two. Again, where? I do not it's the second warning. From the next one will be a stop and go. But I don't understand where I cut differently from other years, other moments, sorry. Baby boy, you are overlapped, you are in the middle of nowhere. Keep the intermediates, or switch to soft dry. Drops are still there. Here there is a bit of light level of water, so we win on a dry surface. I don't understand. With intermediates I struggle to cope with the Nissan just passed. But then in the dry part of the track I was quicker. Very lucky escape. Slipping away, as you can see in the top right corner of the screen. Every now and then I encounter cars that, despite being the MAN prototype or WSC type, they do a set of laps struggling, like for example this BMW, and I'm not sure that could be JJ later, the leader. We'll see why the classification will update itself now. Yes, it was JJ Lato struggling. For no particular reason. I give the space because he's the leader. But he's a leader slowing down. That's good. With the McLaren, Marco. An overlapped car doesn't need to be passed like this. These are the penalties. struggling as well. And we reached almost Calderari Conrad with another LMP. It should be this white Barchetta car, while struggling to overlap the CLK Mercedes. No. I need to see who arrives. I'm in the middle of the road, not a good thing. Seconds lost.
Yellow flag in sector 2. Yellow flag in sector 2.
This is JJ Leto, the leader, currently fulfilling our front windshield. Not quick as before, so we unlap ourselves once more. Here we are. Sorry, but they are struggling. They stop in the middle of the corner. How they can be so stupid? Again. And then they run quickly enough on straights. But there's a bit of moisture. Yes. P6. This is Lorana Yellow out from the top 15 positions. It's still our teammate that is braking in the middle of the corner. 50 minutes, half of the race passed, with still 11 laps in the tank, so we go as long as possible, accordingly also to tires grip. Stop. Penance today is the worst GT to cope with. Thank you. was saying that. Now we are maybe on the curb. No. How many seconds lost? Still in the back of Stefan Johansson, and the slowest BMW MP1. I don't have the stop speed to battle with them. So I don't know what to do, if to switch to soft tires or stay with intermediate ones. Again. Again the penalty. Okay. Twice with one move. The contender Johansson and the most dangerous GT1 car around today, the slowest penalty. Now this one is also Calderari. The best, don't ask me why, I just ran away. It was a trap and I have completely fallen inside. Lost again the position. Back to P8. A bit of traffic. So now in the lead there is Martin Brundle, I suppose Toyota GT1. So we are not first in class, sorry. I fear that is the one we have in front. I cannot read the name on the bodywork. No, it's the other. The other Toyota GT1. We didn't unlap ourselves. Out also the other W.R. Peugeot. lot of battles. Looks anyway a quick train. Let's stay here also because the great Audi is Alboreto. Struggling. No, was again Franco Bila, sorry, red. Mirrors painted. Michele Alboreto is this one. Behind Calderari, Conrad. Past Alboreto. P7. The white car in front is Calderari, Conrad, a few laps before fulfilling the car for, I suppose, 40 laps, not more. I will try soft tires, hoping that will be the right choice to have more grip. Because I see the shadows, so the sun is coming out, maybe, a bit. So will definitely be a good choice, the soft compound. I mean, I don't remember shadows visible before, so I am assuming the sun is coming out. Optimistic. Let's wait a lap or two for the track conditions. Okay, pit and soft tires. Let's see if it is an hazard, a good gamble or not. Here we are. So at least we go down to, we did 52 laps in 1 hour, more or less. So I don't think we need more than 30 laps, to be fair, because we did 50 was half of the 30 out of, yes, it's the, with 30 minutes left. Sorry, let me drink. Okay, maybe now my brain can restart to think, and we have all the time while we are in this moment to think. Given that we don't have an engineer, I think it's a good thing. So we covered 70 minutes, missing 30 minutes. If in 70 minutes we covered 52 laps, I don't think we will need the half of the 70% of the race covered so far is 36 laps, so 30 could be enough. Just to be sure, I go up to 33 hectoliters. At this point I want to try the soft slick, and that's it. Repair the car, yes, to have the best. Let's see. I'm mentally a bit dead at this point of the race. Really struggling to think.
Pairs underway. Hold for closing.
Bad clouds there, but there is the sun because I see the shadows.
Hurry up, we're losing positions. All clear. Go, go, go.
Okie dokie, let's see, P14. We try one lap, if it is not enough, we go back to intermediates. Almost best lap, personal lap time, so definitely
Yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1.
it's the moment for soft. This is O'Connell, but unluckily our teammate is in the middle. Difficult to cope with the top speed of O'Connell with the penalties. But even with soft tires. Who was the one passed with the Nissan? Thomas catching now. seconds against Andy Wallace. I find them difficult to be easily reduced unless he's struggling. And that's why I keep on the top right corner the classification updated at every lap. And instead, on top left corner, always look to the immediate car ahead data, the comparison between the two different informations gives me how things are going. Struggling in the last minutes of the race, but as long as we have the advantage of the grip of soft tires, we'll try to recover as much position possible, positions possible. Here there wasn't the rain before. Now I've seen a bit of spray. Seconds to catch Johansson without losing the racing line to watch the ranking. Marco. In the middle there was Calderari, O'Connell retired. The Riley and Scott, what is going to do? They're overlapped, idiots. We got JJ Leto. The car in front, it's a P2. Maybe too late to get Martin Brundle. That would be an overall P2 or P3 and P2 with the GT ranking. Not bad, despite the wrong decision to stay with intermediates and maybe not stop before. Yes, use the traffic. 10 minutes to recover 12 seconds from Brundle with the Toyota GT1, I feel. 2 seconds, 0.7. Don't touch the wall. Six minutes to go. We can do it. Regardless if he has intermediate, soft, hard compound, medium compound. is struggling, and there is also Collard, or yes, Collard in between. He's overlapped, but he doesn't care. He did stop in front of me. Okay, give back the position, and the car is broken. Just aerodynamics. Okay. Sorry for the mistake, but did brake in the middle of the corner. .4 seconds, 4 minutes to go. Now my tires are starting to go away. He's gone. Doesn't have any more grip to battle, to counter-attack actually. Must avoid just mistakes, possibly. And to not cook the tires in the last 3 laps maybe. But let's build possibly a bit of advantage. In theory 2 laps to go. This one, the next one, then the time will be gone. So my tires are going now. And if I avoid to crash into overlapped cars, can count down, guys, because we have won this race. 34 seconds to go, 1 minute to arrive to the end, 50 seconds. "11 seconds over Martin Brundle, 10 now, doesn't matter. Matter that we stayed more or less with the wrong choice of tires. In the lead lap, sorry, we stayed with the wrong choice of tires, not in the lead lap, because we were at a certain point up to 2 laps down. But with the last 30 minutes, raced 6 seconds per lap quicker than before. Okay, control given to the AI. What a victory, not expected. At a certain point I was hoping to finish at least in the first 10 cars, but at the end was just the wrong choice of compound. So I stayed 6 seconds slower per lap for 2/3 of the race, for the 70% of the race actually. And then the last stint was crazy. We were absolutely unbeatable, completely, totally unbeatable. First with the Porsche 911, ahead of a GT1 Toyota Martin Brundle. Third but fourth overall, the other Toyota GT1, different year, still with Martin Brundle at the wheel. Fourth, Nissan R390, Brundle Müller Taylor. Fifth, Patrese Suzuki Van de Pole. Sixth, Leorana Yellow with the other Porsche 911. Seventh, Bushu Zonta Mercedes CLK. Eighth, Deletrage Leroy Lotus Elise. Ninth, Schneider Webber Mercedes CLK. 10th, Davis with the first Penot's GTR1. LMP class instead did first JJ Leto P3 overall, Collard Cadillac, Calderari Conrad Lola, Johansson Reinhardt, Alboreto Audi, Leitziger 6th, Riley and Scott 7th, Coma with the other Riley and Scott, Andy Wallace Cadillac LMP00, last lap retirement for Field with the Lola P9 in the LMP WSC category. 10th, Clerico with the Courage C52. Maybe this is the first points arrival for the Courage. I do not remember how I do give points. If yes, generally I do the overall classification to the first 10 cars regardless of their categories, but GT1 then score for their category, LMP for their category. Anyway, thank you very much for choosing this car, absolutely the best choice. So thank you and arigato and muchas gracias, obrigado y merci beaucoup and dankeschön, because really wasn't possible a better choice. Then sorry for choosing the wrong compound at the beginning, so maybe we have lost 2 laps without a reasonable reason behind, apart from my mistake on choosing intermediates when obviously soft tires or at least dry tires were the best choice. But given this previous classification, will follow at the end of the video the updated classification of the ranking with the points also of today. But given that every theme has its own type of points assignments, I do not remember in this moment. Is more than midnight, I'm completely cooked mentally, but at least I can confirm we have won thanks to your choice. So please feel free also to go on with the votes. We will go back, I don't know if on a GT car or on an LMP1 WSC car for the next appointment of SportsCar 100, but definitely you made the right choice. Me not, with the first tire compound chosen. Who knows if instead was right and we stayed more or less in the pack of the top 10 before switching with soft compound at the end, while all the others maybe did a pit with choosing again an intermediate compound, because the advantage we had at the end was exactly the 6 seconds of difference between us running at 119, 120 per lap with intermediates and 114, 115 with soft tires. So maybe was also the advantage that the others didn't have. But that's all. Thank you very much again for everything, for your free subscriptions, for your votes, for your likes, for your views, and see you very soon with the Formula 1 Challenge. We are the champions. Episode part number 2 of the episode 1972 with Emerson Fittipaldi and the Lotus Ford John Player special. Thank you again, good night or good morning, whenever will be the moment you will see my face, but the most important thing is this iKeysRacing community, your votes, your participation. And once again, after the WEC 2015 episode 6, we have seen an incredible race thanks to your choice. So let's go on this way, and if you allow me to ask for your votes and your participation. Stay very well, standing live to everybody, stay into keen racing. Ciao from Monza and from Pacific Raceways. See you very soon. Bye bye. Ciao.